Hey guys, in today's video we're going to show you how to increase your credit score guaranteed. It's so important to have a good credit score, so we made it our mission to learn everything about credit scores and how the average person can get to that coveted 800 score in the quickest and easiest way possible. So make sure to watch right until the end, as you'll have a complete game plan on what you need to do starting right now. So the very first thing that is the quickest and easiest way to increase your credit score by a ton is by actually getting added as an authorized user on someone else's credit card. Now, not everyone can do this, but if you know someone with good credit, they can actually boost your score by adding you onto their credit cards. Now, the reason why this might not work for everyone is because one, whoever is added to the credit card can actually negatively impact the primary card holder's credit score if they don't use the card properly. And two, if the primary card holder's credit score is the same or as bad as yours, then your credit score won't increase, because by being an authorized user, you're basically associating with them and their whole credit history. So if you know someone with a good score who trusts you and is willing to sign you onto their card, then this can actually have a really big impact on your score. And we've seen people go from like 650 to 680 or more from being added by someone who has a score of over 800. It's really easy. You really just have to get them to contact the credit card company and ask them to add you as an authorized user to that particular card. Most cards are going to allow this. Now, if you don't have any credit history and you don't have anyone that can actually add you as an authorized user, there are many other things that you can do too. So the second thing is to start building credit history. If you don't have any credit at all, we recommend getting started by applying for your first credit card. If you can't get approved for a credit card right now, don't worry, because you can actually still sign up for something called a secured credit card. Discover actually offers one, as well as many other companies, but pretty much anyone with valid income can qualify for a secured card, because you will need to put down a security deposit in order to get a line of credit, meaning if you put down, let's say $100, you'll be given a line of credit for $100. This makes it very good for beginners with absolutely no credit history. It's a really important step, because this is where you start building your credit, and as time goes on and you get more credit cards, your score will increase. The third thing you guys can do is actually pay off all your credit cards in full all the time. Paying off your credit cards is crucial to raising your credit score, and it's much easier nowadays with autopay, which is a service that most credit card companies provide, so that you can automatically pay off your balances. If your credit card company does not have autopay, then run, because that is not normal. If you haven't already, you should set up autopay for as many of your credit cards as possible, because any missed or late payments can have serious negative effects on your credit score, not to mention the penalty fees and the risk of losing out on other offers like the intro 0% APR periods that most companies give out. So you need to find out when your last date of the billing cycle is every month, and you need to make sure that you're paying off your credit cards by the end of that month, because it makes up 35% of your entire credit score. So yeah, payment history is probably the most important thing that you guys can do. It's pretty simple, but it's also pretty simple to slip up on one or two payments. And if that does happen, your credit score is going to take a pretty big hit. So we want to do everything we can to prevent that from happening. Set up autopay and you'll thank us later. Number 4 is you can build multiple lines of credit. Now that you started building credit history and you're paying these bills on time, the next focus would be to start getting multiple credit cards. You want to do this because when you increase the amount of credit cards you have, the total credit limit you have will also increase. For example, if I have one credit card with a limit of $500 and then I get another card with a limit of $1,000, you basically just upgrade and have a total credit limit of $1,500 now. Getting multiple credit cards like that will strengthen your credit history, because lenders will see that you have multiple credit cards that you're able to pay off on time. Number 5 is you want to wait before getting new credit. What I'll say about this is that you don't want to be getting new credit too often, especially at certain times. This is because when you apply for new credit, there's going to be a slight ding on your credit score, as they will be performing a hard inquiry or hard pull on your credit to see if you qualify. So you can see that if you have a bunch of different inquiries at the same time, that's going to effectively lower your credit score one at a time. Vendors could see you as a riskier borrower if you are applying for different lines of credit all at at once, because the way they see it is like, oh, Charlie is applying for 4 new credit cards plus a mortgage plus an auto loan at the same time. He might be in some trouble financially, and that's why he's trying to borrow all this money at once. Even if that's not the case and you just want to start building credit fast, that's the way that lenders see it. So as a rule of thumb, it's good to wait on trying to get new credit if you want your score as high as possible in the short term. So yeah, new credit will temporarily ding your credit in the short term, but it will help you in the long term. Just understand that timeline and don't apply for credit before big events like buying a house. Okay, so number 6 is to keep your credit utilization ratio under 30%, or better yet, under 10%. Basically, this means that you should not be using more than 30% of your total credit limit before paying it off. If you do go over this 30%, lenders are going to see you as a risk, because from their perspective, there's no need to utilize such a high percentage of the money you're allowed to borrow at once on a credit card or credit cards. You can actually speed up the process of raising your credit score by keeping that utilization rate under 10%. This means that if you have a credit limit of, let's say, $1,000, you should not be using more than $100 per month on your credit card before paying it off. And just to illustrate this a little more clearly, let's say you have a credit limit of $1,000 in total and you go out and buy something for $100 at Target. Well, that's going to bring you to the 10% credit utilization ratio already. So in that case, you're going to want to proactively think, hey, I'm at that 10%. I don't really want to go above 20 or 30%. So I'm actually going to go and manually pay my credit card right now. That way, my balance is going to be back to zero and I'll be able to spend another $100. Doing this proactively means that you'll never go over that 30% threshold, which is definitely going to help increase your credit score. Now, number 7 is checking your credit reports for errors. A really great resource for checking your report is annualcreditreport.com. It's a completely free service and you can do this multiple times per year. But yeah, if you see anything that is incorrect in your personal credit report, you should definitely call them and dispute it. And this goes for any debt that you want to negotiate too. Sometimes there can be errors in your credit reports and it's more common than you think. The most common mistakes that occur include missing accounts, accounts being reported more than once, and reports indicating that closed accounts were closed by the grantor and not the user. When accounts are being reported more than once, it looks like you have higher debt than you actually do, which is definitely not something you want because it can seriously jeopardize your credit score. Anytime you see an error on your credit reports, we really encourage you to contact the credit bureau as well as whoever provides the info to them. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, if the error is real and legitimate, then they need to correct it. You can absolutely look up guides across the internet if the step does need to be completed. The good news is that if you do successfully take care of any errors on your credit reports, you can significantly boost your credit score. And the last thing we're going to go over is super simple, and I sort of mentioned it already, but it's very often overlooked when it comes to raising people's scores, and that is asking for the credit card companies to just increase your credit limit. It's actually really easy, and the worst thing that they can say is no, and it gets even easier as you build up a history and reputation with that credit card company. One of the best plans of attack is to apply the strategy to the card that you spend the most money on. Remember that credit card companies look at the credit utilization ratios of each card too. So yeah, very simple thing that you guys can do if you have credit cards and you want to actually increase your credit card limit pretty easily. So in conclusion, those are 8 different ways and steps that you guys can take towards that coveted 800 score. Credit is so important. It's going to affect you anytime you're borrowing money or trying to leverage. So we really encourage you guys to learn these steps. Really, drill it into your brain. And of course, you guys can save this video and reference it later on. We just want to share this video with you guys because we want you to have the best credit score possible. If you enjoy the video, please make sure to share with a friend and also like and subscribe for more videos just like this. Thank you so much for your time and we'll see you in the next video.